Howdy, this is Mike. We're here in Pigeon Forge at the Ramsey Convention Center. I have been given permission to film here today. Yay! So there's lots of lectures, presentations here, a lot of vendors here. Just a lot of stuff mostly about the Smokies and other East Tennessee areas. Some wildlife demonstrations. A lot of history, a lot of music, authentic music. Should be a good time.
It's a really good place to go and eat if you're going to eat a lot. Yeah.
I was going to say you probably, yeah. What's the waterfall thing? Oh, it's just like
Hi, how are you today?
Fine.
Good.
Everybody here does not like snakes. This should be your one exception. Because she will not only eat other snakes, she will also eat venomous snakes. So they're not completely immune to venomous snakes' venom, but they are able to survive it. It doesn't affect them the same way it would affect a mammal. So what will happen is, say she happens to get tagged by a venomous snake while she's hunting it. She's probably still going to eat that snake, and then she's going to go sleep off that venom and digest that same snake. They do have a specialized way that they will hunt other snakes to try and prevent being bitten, is they will, say you're alongside a snake, she'll come up, she'll grab them right behind the head and coil down their body. Because their lungs are in the first third of their body, so they know that, all right, if I neutralize the head, I can't get bit, and I can strangle them at the same time. And then once they get them neutralized, they will swallow them down just like a noodle. They will do this to every snake, whether it's venomous, non-venomous. Just makes it a lot safer for them. Their biggest danger when going up against a venomous snake isn't the venom itself, it is the fangs. Because if she happens to get bit in her first third, she's going to end up with a punctured lung, or if a little bit lower, she can end up with a punctured organ. So they are very strategic whenever they hunt other snakes. But they will eat rodents, birds, lizards. They'll eat basically everybody's on the menu for these guys. If it smells good, you're eating it. But they do tend to prefer snakes, but you can't always find them. Alright, I will actually bring her around, and if you would like to pet her, you can. And if you don't want to pet her, just kind of wave me on and I'll go on her back. And off the microphone. There we go. Would you like to pet the snake?
Photograph it.
Oh yeah, they're super smooth. The black rat snakes are going to be a lot longer. Their head shape will be a little bit different. And their underbellies will be white or yellow, where these guys have the speckling all down their side. But again, usually the easiest way, these guys are a little bit more shorter, kind of thicker, not by a lot. And then the rat snakes, they'll be a lot longer and slim. She's just acclimated to being handled. To her, I'm just a big one tree. But the rat snakes, usually if you walk up to them, they're going to be ready for blood. Rat snakes are a lot more defensive than like these guys. If you start messing with them, they'll get defensive. But if you just walk up on these guys, they can care less about your existence. The rat snakes, they're usually going to, you're going to try and eat them. See, she makes a great person.
Of course, if they get infections, sometimes they have problems getting the eye caps when they shed. So we'll help in that. We'll aid in that if we can.
As far as arthritis or whatever.
With arthritis, there's really nothing we can do. We can only help with topical things like infections, but other than that, that's about it.
What was the biggest snake how big was the biggest snake?
So we took care of a gray rat snake, which is the largest snake in Tennessee, and he was about 6.5 feet long. So I'm 5 foot long, so if you think about it, that's a really tall snake, much taller than I am.
I saw a picture online when I was researching up snakes. The snake was really big and it was like bigger than a log.
Yeah, it's probably like an anaconda, right, or a python. Those guys get really, really big. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about those in Tennessee.
They're really long and bigger than a
near like Johnson City, all that. It is.
Yes, and it's a beautiful park. Oh, wow. But it should be.
And she envisioned her son there alone and how comforted she would feel if she could give him a hug. And she thought if she made him a quilt and sent it to him and said, "This is a hug from me to you," and that is how Quilts of Valor started. So since then, Quilts of Valor have awarded over 400,000 quilts nationwide. Now, we are a special military organization in the sense that while we love and respect all of our military, Quilts of Valor are for those military members who have been touched by war. Now, it has been said that only about 1% of our population today will ever wear the uniform of this nation. But our Quilts of Valor recipients are even more special because they are the elite. Because of the 1% that join the military, only about 10% will ever be touched by war. So today we are here to honor our less than 1%ers. Fern served in the Navy from 1988 to 1996. But then he decided he wanted something a little different, a little more, so he joined the Army from 98 to 2010. He was in Iraq, San Diego, Norfolk, Virginia, Tennessee, Mississippi, and California. He was a radio man and an Olds clerk, and I asked him, "What is that?" And he said, "Well, it's kind of like Napa on wheels." So he could take care of all of the equipment. And he was awarded the Humanitarian Service Medal. So our tradition when we award a Quilt of Valor is that we show the member the quilt first. And then we show you. Now, each Quilt of Valor is unique and it's different. There is no one set pattern that we use. You will rarely, if ever, see an identical Quilt of Valor. And then we wrap the quilt around the member's shoulders, symbolizing a hug and a welcome home. Service, Mr. Burns. Dennis Claybo. It's estimated about 60 hours of work goes into each quilt. Many different hands touch the quilts. Mr. Claybo served in the Army from 1968 to 1970, and he went to Vietnam. He served in Da Nang and was in the 9th Infantry Division. He received the Army Commendation Medal of Heroism, and he was awarded the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star Award. Now, these quilts are meant for and intended for you to use. They are washable. There are washing instructions on the label of the quilts, so please use them. And Mr. Jameson Roberts. Roberts served in the Army from 1989 to 1992 during the Gulf War, including Desert Shield and Desert Storm. He was deployed to Saudi Arabia. He was in communications, and he was awarded the Army Commendation Medal and the Southwest Asia Medal. There's a label on the quilt. Typically there's 3 names. The name of the lady, the person who did the top piece, the top all together. And then there are the quilter. We have 3 or 4 quilters in our group who take the tops and they quilt all 3 layers together. And then typically someone else will take it and put the binding around the outer edge. So sometimes 3 to 4 ladies have worked on your quilts. So until now, these quilts have been in our possession, and they belong to Quilts of Valor. But as of today, these quilts are yours, and they represent your story. We hope that you will keep them as a tangible reminder that there are many across this land who are forever in your debt. And it was our great pleasure to honor you today with the Quilts of Valor. Thank you.